Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to my course on project stakeholder management. This is a course which I'm teaching on behalf of ComSats virtually. This is the second time I'm doing it. I've done it once before at the University of Maryland in the United States, and now I have the pleasure and the privilege of doing it here for the ComStats Virtual University. So, project stakeholder and communication management, this is the longer title, but I just call it project stakeholder management. It's a very interesting subject, and it's actually, as I'm teaching it here, it's a very unique subject. It's the only one which is being taught in Pakistan at the moment, and according to my information, there are only about 5 or 6 courses on this subject which are being taught at universities worldwide. So get ready. We have a lot of ground to cover, and you'll find it hopefully very interesting. Some of you might find it very challenging. In any case, I hope all of you will find it very useful, and you will find it very practical in terms of your practical work, your professional work, which you will be doing later on after you graduate. Well, before I start going into the course material, let me first tell you a little bit about myself. And I have designed my slides in such a way that all the information which you need for this course is available on the slides. Having said that, I also expect you to do some reading. Just looking at slides is a no-no. It's not enough. You have to also hit the books sometimes. Anyway, a little bit about myself first. My name is Aurangzeb Zulfikar Khan, and my academic education is all from Germany. I have a German degree in business administration, German diploma, which is equivalent to the master level in business administration. I have a master's in public administration and a PhD in public administration from the German University of Administrative Sciences in Speyer. It's been now 7 or 8 years since I got my PhD, and in that time I've been working for ComSats as an assistant professor. I have recently been made principal research officer, which is now one step on the way to becoming an associate professor. Anyway, a little bit about myself, my professional work experience. I started in 1992. It's already 20 years ago. It's been quite a while. I first worked as an executive assistant at a private consultancy which was based here in Islamabad, Hilal Consultants, very much into infrastructure projects, infrastructure ventures, which was very much in vogue in those days, particularly in light of the emergence of Central Asian republics and all the talk about the Economic Cooperation Organization, ECO. There was a lot of discussions going on about common infrastructure schemes, and this consultancy was working on that. For about 4 years, I worked for a German organization, the Hans Seidel Foundation, which has offices worldwide, and I helped set up the office here in Islamabad in 1993. When I started working for this organization. Also a lot of projects, a lot of programs, institutional support, institutional building, capacity building, and so forth. For about 2 years I was a research fellow at the Institute of Strategic Studies, Islamabad, which comes under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You might have heard about it, and which looks at regional and international issues of relevance to Pakistan and how best to tackle such issues. And after that I went to Germany for my higher education, and since 2005, since March 2005, I've been assistant professor in the Department of Management Sciences at CIIT Islamabad, first based here in H8, now in Chakshazad, and now back here in H8 to do these recordings. The subjects I have taught at CIIT Islamabad over the period of 2005-2010, quite a number of subjects, as you can see over here, like business research methods, IHRM, International Human Resource Management, operations management, my favorite, project management, seminar and human resource management, TQM, total quality management. And within our Master of Project Management program, which I initiated for the first time in Pakistan back in September 2008, I have taught various specialized areas. In addition to the fundamentals of project management, this subject here, stakeholder and communication management, which I have developed myself, project controlling, monitoring, and seminar and project management. Also designing a new course on project governance these days. In 2007, I was awarded the Best University Teacher Award in Pakistan on behalf of the ComSat's Institute of Information Technology. This award was given by the Higher Education Commission of Pakistan. And here you can see a couple of photos from the award ceremony. Professor Taur Rahman handing me my certificate. And this is me with my parents standing outside and being photographed. My mother on the left, my father on the right. Sadly, my father passed away last February, so he's no longer with us. But this was a very joyous occasion for them both. Now, because I have designed these slides, I have designed this presentation specifically for on-campus students. I mean, this is in Pakistan a new experience now here, this virtual university. It's something which is just starting to pick up. Normally what I do when I start a course right at the very beginning, you know, in order to break the ice, in order, you know, for people to sort of get more acquainted with each other, to be more familiarized with each other, and so that I also know who I'm dealing with, I usually ask the participants to give some information about themselves, for example, their name, of course. By the way, I'm very bad at remembering names. You know, I always have to constantly, you know, sort of interact with people many times before I can sort of remember their name, before their name really sits in. Very important is their higher education and professional background. What are they doing? Are they, for example, IT engineers? Are they construction engineers? Are they natural scientists? Are they artists? Or are they public administrators? Whatever. It's very important to know that because project management and stakeholder management as an extension of project management, that finds application in each and every project. But of course, the types of projects, the categories of projects, they tend to differ from profession to profession, across backgrounds. So it's good that one knows this, where the people tend to be, in what background they tend to be concentrated, so one can design and one can present the examples accordingly. Other information normally which I'm keen to know from my students who are attending my courses, in this case stakeholder management, what is their personal experience in managing and engaging stakeholders. All of them, I'm sure, must have done some projects at some stage, and they have been dealing with stakeholders, because stakeholders you find on every project, in every program, and it can be very challenging to manage and engage stakeholders. And that's why I would like to know what is their personal experience, what they expect from this course, and why they are interested in this course. There's so many courses to choose from in project management. It's a huge area. It can fill a whole library of project management books, many different areas, many different specializations and sub areas. And one would like to know why people are interested in this course, although it should be obvious. Stakeholders, as I said, are in every project and every program. You have to manage them whether you like it or not, and that is why people should be interested in this course, but of course everyone has their own priorities. How I'm conducting this course? Well, my aim is to conduct at least 15 classes. When I do it on campus, each class is usually about 2.5 hours, 3 credit hour course, and the total is about 37 to 40 hours of total teaching time. The model which I follow in teaching my courses. I use the same model, and it has evolved over time based on my experience when I was a student in Germany, and based on my experience over here in teaching, and also based on observation of other people's models of teaching. I put a lot of emphasis on a holistic and integrated teaching approach. What does holistic mean? You might have heard about it. You know, holistic, you sometimes come across terms like holistic medicine. These sorts of things. Holistic basically means whole. Holistic, whole. And whole in the sense of comprehensive. In other words, you have to look at the whole picture, not just to pick out, you know, certain aspects which might seem very interesting, which probably are very useful, but which are just partial aspects. One has to see the whole picture. It's only when you see the whole picture then you can really begin to see how all the parts, how all the topics, how all the themes, how all the subject areas are related to each other. It's like having a giant painting. And if you start taking out pieces of this painting, then the chances are that you will not really understand what the painting is about. What is it trying to convey? And that's why you have to see the whole painting in order to understand really what the subject is all about. And this is the model which I follow. So each and every aspect will be covered in this course. Real-life examples and case studies. This is very important. Project management is a very hands-on subject. It's not a theoretical subject. It's hands-on. The whole subject of project management actually, you could say, has come from practice. It's empirical. It's been taken from practice, and the theory which goes along with it to a large extent has evolved from this practice, from this exposure to practice, which has been taking place actually for thousands of years when you think about it, and is universal. So a lot of real-life examples, a lot of case studies which are taken from actual projects which I have been collecting in my database. I have a huge database of project management and project stakeholder management. Actually, there's so much stuff, it's really difficult to manage now because there's so much material. And I will be sharing with you some of what I consider to be the more pertinent, relevant examples. One thing which is very important for me, very important actually, you could say it is really the cornerstone of this course, is to encourage analytical, critical and creative thinking. Now this is something which is very, you could say, it's not always appreciated by many people who have been accustomed to the other mode of learning, which is cramming, which is rote learning, which is a big no-no in this course. What I want you to do is to think. You have to use your brain, and not always just to, you know, sort of take everything what is coming your way from me, from my side, but you also have to think about things. Why is something like this? Why is something like that? Why is something not done this way? Why is it being done this way? How do all these things interrelate? Could there be another better way of doing it? You know, asking why, thinking about how, and coming up with your own ideas, coming up with your own solutions, you know, your own, using your own imagination, your own thinking. That is what I like to encourage in this course. No cramming. The worst thing what you can do is just to, you know, cram and memorize and rote learn. That is not going to help you one bit. The real value of a course comes from the, you know, analytical and the critical and the creative potential which you can derive therefrom. And that is what I want you to think about. That is most important. So please, no memorization, no rote, no cramming, big no-no in this course. Something else here, the ELMS online blackboard system, that is what I used when I was teaching overseas. It does not really apply here. The virtual University of ComSats must be having its own arrangement. What that arrangement is at the moment, I can't say, I don't know. It's also, I'm very new here. It's also the first day I'm here, to conduct my course. So over the coming days and weeks, maybe I will be able to find some more information on that, which I'll be able to share with you about how you will be able to access all the material, because it's not only PowerPoint presentations, it's also a lot of other material. As I said, I'll be providing you with a lot of case studies, with a lot of examples, and these come in different file formats. They can be Word documents, they can be PDF documents, they can be Excel files, they can be JPG files, they can be video files, they can be audio files, etc., etc., etc. And there has to be a way in which you can access all this. All the PowerPoint presentations which you will be getting here are all original. They all have been made by me over the last few years. And every semester, in the course of the semester and the holidays, I do a lot of updates, updates here, updates there, sometimes small updates, sometimes larger updates. Also based on the interaction which I get with the students. They have questions, and then for future presentations, I try to already build the answers to those questions inside my slides so that it's a complete package, and that they will be getting a very deep insight, and then they can think about other things which maybe might not have been dealt with in great detail in the course of the presentations. For course literature, project stakeholder management, as I mentioned, it's a relatively new area of project management. New in the sense that not much research has been done until about the year 2004, 2005. Now research in this field has really picked up. And but on the other hand, there isn't really that much literature available. Like if you look for literature on basic project management, you'll find a whole library. But if you look for literature on project stakeholder management, you'll find just a few publications, book publications. You'll find a lot of research papers, you'll find a lot of case studies, you'll find a lot of white papers, you'll find a lot of reports, you'll find a lot of material on websites and so forth, a lot of sort of bits and pieces which really have to come together. But I have collected some very good literature, and of course I will be providing that to you. Examination system, for the on-campus system, we have got two examinations. One is midterm, one is a final. One is for 2 hours, one is for 3 hours. And what I usually give are essay type questions. I give essay type questions exclusively because I think they are very good as a stimulant for creative and analytical thinking, which I already pointed out. There are no multiple choice questions in my exams. The system which the virtual university may have might be a bit different. Can't say at the moment, as I said. In addition to the exams, usually what I do is I give a group assignment, where I have 4 or 5 students. They work together on a topic which I give them. And periodically there might be mini assignments or even quizzes, which I'm not very keen on, because I think 2 examinations are enough. And I don't think that quizzes and assignments are particularly useful. Many of my colleagues will not agree with me on this. Maybe the management of my department also may not agree with me on this, but this has been my experience. And of course, most of all, there should be extensive class interaction, both vertically, that is teacher to student, as well as horizontally between the students themselves. Because all of the students, they come from different backgrounds, they have different experience, and I think it's very useful if the students can share their experience with their classmates, with their peers. I have found out in my experience that has been a very good way of exchanging knowledge, exchanging insights, which has been quite helpful and quite useful. So this is the model normally which I use in order to teach my courses, not only stakeholder management, but any other course which I usually teach. Well, you know, people tend to be very fond of mathematics, in our department especially, you know, management sciences, and a lot of people like to use formulas in their work. I'm not a big fan of mathematics, and I'm not a very big fan of formulas, no offense meant to any mathematicians. But if you want to be successful in this course, and successful I mean not only in the sense of marks, but also in the sense of gaining knowledge, which can be used to enrich your workplace, can be to enrich your lives, then you have got to use this formula, quote unquote, here. And there are certain prerequisites here to show interest in this course. If you have no interest, well, then you're just wasting your time, probably also wasting my time, and it's not going to bring anyone anything. So you have to have an interest. You have to be inquisitive, you know, to ask questions, to want to know, to have this interest in knowing. You have to have some absorption capacity, because there's lots and lots of material, and you will be exposed to mountains of information over the course of the next 15-16 weeks. So you have to be able to retain some of that. As I said, critical thinking, analytical skills, creative skills, very important. Most of all, common sense. Now, common sense, you know, project management to a large extent, maybe 80%, maybe 90% is all common sense. It's not rocket science. It's not very difficult, actually. You know, you have to think logically. You have to use some common sense, you know, how you would go about in a certain situation, you know, in order to achieve the best possible results. And I've seen common sense is in very short supply. Maybe people think it's so natural that you don't even have to think about it. But common sense, if you just use common sense, you will see that this course is much easier to follow. There is a saying, you know, lots of philosophers have come and gone over the millennia. There is one philosopher, you know, who once came up with a saying which is very relevant to this course. Not only relevant to this course, relevant to every course which is being taught on our planet. That is the Chinese philosopher Confucius, who lived around 2,500 years ago. And he has this saying, timeless saying, universal, applicable universally. The saying is, the essence of knowledge is having it to apply it. You collect knowledge, but there is no point of collecting knowledge if you can't use it to create value, to better our lives, to bring about positive change. And this is the saying, you know, which I always print on my examination papers, is from Confucius here. The essence of knowledge is having it to apply it. Beautiful saying, and please think about it when you are attending this course and whenever you are doing anything relating to it. Now let us come to the course objectives, and there are quite a few course objectives. This is what I want you to be able to achieve by the end of the course. The prime objectives of this course, well, I have 4 or 5 prime objectives, but as I already pointed out, I want to acquaint you all comprehensively and in depth with the subject of project stakeholder management and engagement, which is covering both a theoretical angle as well as a practical angle. So you should be able to know the theory, and you should be able to apply the theory in practice. And what I have done here is I'm using the best possible material which is available as of this point in time, with a lot of real-life examples taken not only from Pakistan but from across the globe. Later on you'll see there are a lot of interesting videos relating to project management and specifically stakeholder management, which I have got here from Pakistan, but which I've also got from other countries. Motivation. Motivation is most important for any student, for any teacher, And what I want you to do in this course is I want to motivate you to deepen your insights of project stakeholder management and engagement. You probably already have some idea, you might not be knowing it, but you already have some basic idea of project stakeholder management and engagement. And I want you to apply your acquired knowledge for the systematic, effective, and efficient management and engagement of stakeholders on all types of projects which you will be working on, either in the present or in the future, in your professional work environments. A very big sounding sentence, but basically it's very simple when you get to think about it. You're in this course, you're investing your time, you're investing your money, you're investing your energy, and there has to be some outcome of that. And this outcome is that hopefully you will be able to deal with stakeholders in a much better way maybe than you have been dealing with them at the moment. Or you will get some idea on how to deal them in such a way that it not only helps you, it helps your organization, but it also is good for your stakeholders. So in other words, it's a kind of a win-win situation which we are trying to achieve. And of course, in the most efficient possible way. Now, another objective, this is a bit sort of higher looking. I want to encourage organizations through their employees who are participating. I mean, those of you who are employed in some professional organization. I want to encourage your employers to align, to modify their stakeholder management and engagement policies, strategies, processes, tools on a more stakeholder responsive footing. As I just mentioned, win-win solutions. This is what we are aiming for. And hopefully your organizations will be able to benefit through your knowledge, which you will convey to your management, to your seniors, to your superiors. That will bring benefits for them, for you, the organization, and for the stakeholders. So everyone should benefit to the maximum possible extent. And this is if we can bring about some change in the way organizations deal with stakeholders, then I think we have achieved a lot from this course. And of course, I have some other objectives also. I would like to have more research on the subject. I would like more organizations to deal with this subject, whether they are public sector organizations, whether they are commercial organizations, whether they are not-for-profit organizations. And those of you who are working for such organizations, when you interact with your colleagues, with your seniors, with your managers, and they get to know a little bit about project stakeholder management through you, then hopefully they will also show more interest in contributing towards the development of this subject, for example, with their own case studies, with their own examples on how they do things. Well, those were the course objectives, and these seem to be quite reasonable, I think. This course has been designed actually for professionals, not so much for students without any practical experience. When we started the Master Project Management program at ComStats back in fall semester 2008, we had about 80 professionals who were enrolled in our program back then. Actually, we had so many people that we had to make 2 shifts. We could not accommodate so many people in one course, in one class, and most of them have really achieved these objectives based on the feedback which we have received. Many of them have been promoted, many of them have been given charge for managing projects and programs in their organization, and the feedback I got for this course has generally, by and large, been quite positive, that it really was useful and a good investment of time and energy and money. So now we will move on a little bit further. The rules for the course participants. Now I don't think I should be sort of presenting this over here, because we are doing this in a virtual environment. We're not doing this in a physical on-campus environment where you are physically present at a location. But these are just some of the things which I advise all my students to do, which is for their benefit. Helps me also, but it's really for their benefit, intended for their benefit. Listening. Listening is a very important form of communication, to listen. And for these lectures, one has to listen very carefully, very attentively. Always be up and thinking and analyzing and trying to understand what I'm saying. Don't let your attention drift off or wander off somewhere else. I know for some people it might be a bit difficult. This whole course is going to be conducted in the English language. English is my first language. I was born in London. All my primary education has been in London. Most of my secondary education has been in London. My Urdu is not all that good, I'm afraid. So conduct the classes in English. This is also the requirement of ComStats, and I think it's also the requirement of the virtual university. Some of you sorry, may have some problems with the English, following the English. So what I advise you to do, as I said, is listen very attentively, very carefully. Since this is a recording, you can always replay parts of it, those parts which you think you might not have understood very well. Or you can always ask your classmates, your peers, and get their advice and their guidance. Maybe they might have understood something which you might not have understood, and that's why this interaction, as I said, horizontal interaction, is very important. Ask questions, bring up points for discussion in the classroom. I'm a very open-minded person, and I'm a very interactive person. I like to communicate with people. I don't understand it when people sit and quietly and don't say anything. They should say something. Ask something. Discuss something. Bring up some relevant topic for discussion. It's only by doing all this that you can really deepen your insights. But just sitting quietly, taking things in, not saying anything, it's not a good way to study. And maybe in some of your other courses, classes, you might not have been really encouraged to do this, but I strongly encourage you to do so. It's in your interest, it's also in my interest. The prescribed course literature, the literature which is prescribed to you, you must read. Students always have this habit of not reading anything or reading just before the exams. It's too late then. You have to read from the beginning of the semester, from the first week already. I don't expect you to read each and everything in the first week, but you already should have given an attempt to start reading the basics of whatever literature has been provided to you. Most important. Well, again, this was written when I was at the University of Maryland, and I'll come to that in a minute. In the on-campus environment, virtually this might be a little bit more difficult. On-campus environment, I've always encouraged students to come to my office if they have problems. They can come individually, they can come as a group. I'm always happy to counsel. I'm not always in office, a lot of times I have meetings. I'm also heading some committees. I'm also doing research, so I can't always be physically present in my office, but I also have an email address, and students can always contact me on that. Course evaluation is very important. At ComStats, we are doing this on a compulsory basis. We always get feedback from our students at the end of the course. How was the course? Did they like it? Did they learn from it? How was the teaching style? How was the material? Etc., etc. It's a long questionnaire which they can fill in. I think now they can also do it online, anonymously, of course. So what I really encourage you to do is to give your feedback. If there is some way you think the course can be improved, if you have noticed something, in the style or in the methodology or in the content or something, please do let us know, and we will definitely modify it accordingly if we see that there is a genuine need for that. So be constructive, or constructive criticism, be honest, and tell us what you think about our courses. My course, all the other courses. This doesn't really apply to you. The first one, don't be late to class. In the virtual environment, there is really no such thing as being late. Again, this does not apply in the virtual environment. Don't use cell phones in class. I'm very particular when I go in my on-campus classes. I always switch off my cell phone, which is in my pocket, and I always expect everyone else to switch off theirs. These are one of the things which really annoy me when cell phones are going off. Again, for a virtual environment, this doesn't really apply to you, chit-chatting among yourselves while the class is ongoing, because you are at your respective locations. You will be watching the recording. I don't think many of you will be all sitting together. Maybe some of you will be. But when you are sitting together in a group and watching this recording, then please don't chit-chat among yourselves. Focus on the recording. Focus on what I'm saying. Focus on the material which I'm presenting to you. Yeah, all right. Yeah, crybaby. Don't pester me for more marks. It's a big problem. People are always running to me asking for more marks. You get what you deserve, you know. Very important is don't follow the rote learning. As I have pointed out before, never do this. This is the worst thing you can do. Like cheating, like plagiarism, like misbehavior, rote learning is a very bad thing. It's not appreciated. It's not going to help you at all. You come, you go. When you're finished with this course, I probably won't see you again. But if you have been rote learning everything, which sadly now and then a few students do, it's not going to help you one bit. So please keep that in mind. And I don't reward rote learning. When I see examination papers or assignments which have been copied or definitions have been put down as they are given, or something is taken from my slides as given, some diagram or some illustration, I cut marks for that. I don't give any marks for that. What I do appreciate is when people can think and even come up with some new ideas which have not even been discussed in class, but they have given an effort. The new ideas, they seem logical, they have some common sense basis behind them. Get full marks for that. Yeah. With ComStats you have to be careful because no retake of final examinations is allowed. Maybe in the virtual environment there might be some exception, I can't say, that you will have to check with the people over here. But if you miss out the final examination at ComStats, you have to retake the whole semester, which is not a nice thing. All right, having gone through the do's and don'ts of this course, which is in your best interest and in mine, of course, let us now look at the course structure and the student assessment, the kind of methodology which I employ in my courses, all my courses. Well, as you know, this is a 32-week course, Project Stakeholder Management, which I also call Project Stakeholder and Communication Management. I have broken it down into various segments. As you can see over here on the right side of the slide, there are 4 major segments. The first segment is Lectures 1 to 6, which covers Introduction to Project Stakeholder Management and Engagement. A lot of things which we have to go over in this segment. The second segment is covers lectures 7 to 10. In this I talk about stakeholders, specific stakeholders, and what are the interests, the roles, responsibilities, and the relationship of these specific stakeholders to projects. The third segment covers lectures 11 and 12, and that's just a brief overview of the 9 principal drivers of the subject of project stakeholder management and engagement. This is all based on my own research into the subject. The last segment, and also the biggest segment in terms of content and in terms of time covered, covers lectures 13 to 32 of this course. Here we talk about the way we can manage and engage project stakeholders in a professional setting. I start off with the project's stakeholder governance model, which I have developed myself, and which composes various components, that is institutional, directional, methodological, technical, and educational. And I will be focusing on these various components, especially with regards to the methodological component, that are the tools, processes of stakeholder management and engagement, starting with context analysis, going through identification analysis, and then strategy development and strategy implementation. Last year I had taught this course at the University of Maryland, and it was taught for the first time over there. I still have this slide from that time, and in those days they had a very good system. All the material could be put onto their ELMS Blackboard system, PowerPoint slides, PDF documents, Excel sheets, Word documents, JPG files, videos, etc., which was a very good system, and I think something which the virtual campus of ComStats here will be soon, if not already, offering. Now, about the student assessment, there are various components. There is an examination component. There are two examinations. One is the midterm examination, one is the final examination. And then there is a component which covers quizzes, assignments, and graded discussion points. In this course, we will be having a total of 4 assignments, all of which are mandatory. These will be individual assignments which students have to work on. The purpose of these assignments, these 4 assignments, is to determine if, how, and to what extent you can apply the concepts, processes, and tools which you'll be learning about in this course, preferably into projects which you may have already undertaken. If you can apply your knowledge to projects which you may have undertaken or which you are presently undertaking. I also assume that some, if not many of you, may be having no sort of work experience. That is not really a big issue. We will work around that, and there are ways and means, as we will see. But basically, what the assignment is intended to do is really to see that you can apply your knowledge. It's about application, and of course it's also about creativity. As I pointed out, creativity is very important in our course. Some guidelines for your assignments. First of all, think carefully before attempting each assignment. Don't rush into it, immediately get your assignment and then just jump on it. Think about it. Maybe even spend some time, some hours, maybe even a day or so, really thinking about it carefully, what the assignment is about before you start attempting it. I put a lot of emphasis on originality. All your work which you provide, it should be original work. It should not be something which is taken from somewhere else. You should apply your mind. That is the whole purpose of this course, is that you can apply yourselves, not just copy or take something which is already there, unless it's absolutely necessary. Quality is very important. Quality always takes precedence over quality in my courses. I always look at the quality of answers. You can get away with a much better grade if you write just a few pages, but you write real quality answers in those pages than if you were to submit 20 or 30 pages. That is a problem for me. I have to read through all that. That takes time. Some people have a terrible handwriting, and that can be really annoying at times. Please try to submit quality answers. If you have any work experience, excellent, relate to it. If you don't have it, no problem. We can also get around that. Please, if you are given an assignment, do it in time. Don't be late. Don't ask me that you want to resubmit it after doing some corrections. And please don't submit voluminous assignments, great masses of paper. I would rather that you submit much less in terms of volume, but it should be of a very high standard. No copy pasting from the internet. If I have to mark any assignment in which there is copy pasting, I see there is copy pasting, and there are ways of detecting if there's copy pasting. there's 0 marks. Worst thing you can do is to copy paste. Very bad sort of a way of doing things, a very bad culture which unfortunately has crept into academia with the advent of the digital age, but you're not helping yourself if you copy paste. And of course, no arguing over marks. When I ever give marks, I'm usually very generous. I usually give more than I should be giving sometimes. So please do not argue over marks. And also do not waste time doing your assignments. Think about them carefully, but then start working on them in earnest. And don't sit on them till the last moment and then run around and then try to complete them and then you run into problems. Students all the time run into this problem of just sitting on their assignments, doing nothing, and then a few days before submission they start doing something and it doesn't work out for them. For very complex assignments, which you will not be getting in this course because you'll be getting 4 assignments, this is usually when I give only one project assignment in the course of the semester and I give it to a group of students, then I expect them to follow a research-based format. And this is the research-based format over here, starting with executive summary, going through various pages like table of contents, list of tables, glossary, abbreviations, and then going into introduction, analysis, conclusion, recommendations, appendix, bibliography, bibliography. This does not really apply for your assignments because you'll be having smaller individualized assignments. These are for larger group-based assignments. But I just thought it might be informative if I include it, so you also have an idea in case you ever will be working on group-based or even individual-based research type assignments. Quizzes. Quizzes also are a mandatory part of this course. Like the assignments, there will be 4 quizzes. Each quiz will consist of 25 multiple choice questions, which you will all have to attempt. Each multiple choice question will contain 5 possible answers, and you will have to select 1 or more of these answers. So it's not necessary that only 1 out of 5 is correct. It might be 2 out of 5, maybe 3 out of 5, maybe even all 5 answers may be correct. Depends on the question, of course. But this is what you can expect to encounter when you are getting quizzes. And these quizzes, they can cover any topic which we have discussed, which I have presented here in this course. Finally, there are graded discussion topics. In addition to assignments, your 4 assignments and your 4 quizzes, you'll also be having some graded discussion topics, a few of them. I think there were 4 of them. Yeah, there are also 4 of them in total for this course, which I will be setting. Like the quizzes, like the assignments, the topics can cover anything which has been raised in this course. And when you are attempting these graded discussion topics, you also will be permitted to comment on your course mates' answers and their comments. So it's basically a kind of a sort of intellectual discussion with regards to project stakeholder management based on all the material I have presented and based, of course, on your own input. Very important is that there should also be your input. It's not only from me to you, but I mean it's you among yourselves and also from you to me. So we have all levels covered. That is very important for our course. And the quizzes, the assignments, and the graded discussion topics together, the 4 assignments, the 4 quizzes, and the 4 graded discussion topics together, they will constitute 25% of your total course marks. 25%. The remaining 75% will be accounted by the midterm examination, 1 midterm examination, and 1 final examination. The midterm examination is 2 hours in duration and covers 25% of the total course marks. The final examination at the end of this course is 3 hours in duration and covers 50% of the total course marks. So you have the 2 examinations, the midterm examination 25%, the final examination 50%, and the quizzes, assignments, and graded discussion topics, which will be covering the remaining 25%. So all 100% of the marks are thereby accounted for. Now, regarding the examinations, the midterm and the final examinations, the midterm examination will cover all the material which I have presented in this course, right from the beginning of the course, from lecture 1 until the midterm examination date. The final examination will cover material relating to the entire course, that is all 32 lectures. Just a few tips for you, so that it can help you attempting your examinations. Be holistic, be creative, apply your knowledge. Very important for me is that you should be analytical, you should be creative, and there should be no rote learning, no memorization, and no reproduction of what I have been handing out here in terms of documents, in terms of PDF files, in terms of Word files, in terms of PowerPoints and all that. That is a big no-no in examinations. You must use your own minds. You must be able to think creatively and freely for yourself. You will be challenged. These are not easy examinations which I normally set. For the midterm, there are usually 2 mandatory questions, and they're both, there's no choice. For the final examination, there are 3 or 4 mandatory questions, no choice again. Questions sometimes can contain sub-questions, all of which have to be answered, and that is why it is so important to read through the questions very carefully. Not just to quickly read through them and then jump on answering them, but to read them, maybe to think about them more, read them again, make some notes on a rough piece of paper, think some more, and then start attempting them. As I said, the quality of answers is most important, not the quantity of your writing. You can write much better answers maybe in 1 or 2 pages than you can write in 20 pages. So always be mindful of that. It's the quality which counts, not the quantity. Irrelevant material is irrelevant material, and there are really no marks for that. There shouldn't be. Reproduction, again, there are no marks for that. There's nothing analytical, nothing creative in that. It's just a reproduction. When you are taking examinations, please note that no electronic aids are permitted, no laptops, no cell phones, no calculators, no diaries, digital diaries, etc. It's also not an open book examination. No books are allowed, no files are allowed, no notes are allowed, whether typed or handwritten, whatever. It's just your mind which counts. All the knowledge, the insights which are in your mind, that is all you have to bring to the examination, nothing else. In the examinations, the midterm and the final examinations, there are no multiple choice questions. These are reserved, as I pointed out, for the quizzes. Each quiz has got 25 multiple choice questions, as prescribed here in our course guidelines. And there will be 4 quizzes for the duration of this course. Now, to be a little bit helpful to you, I would like to refer to the module handbook, which is also being distributed to you. In Appendix 1, you will find that there are a lot of old examination papers. As I said, I've been teaching this subject now for the last 4+ years. So a lot of examination papers have accumulated along the way. And what I want to do is I just want to go into the handbook now. So you can see the papers which are given here at the back in Appendix number 1. You see the latest examination papers are included here. Please disregard this term here, sessional examinations. That was used some time ago. We had a different examination format then. It's not relevant now for you, although maybe the questions which are there you would like to have a look at, because these type of questions also would be useful to get to know. Let us look over here now. This is from the MSPM class of the fall semester 2011. This was a midterm examination which took place on the 15th of November 2011. As you can see here, I have given 2 questions, both of which are mandatory, and I've also given some instructions over here, which can sort of serve as a guideline for you. Question number 1, which carries 15 marks. The total is 2 questions for 25 marks. The first question has 15 marks. The second question has got 10 marks. The first question, let's just have a quick look at it. Reflect on your past and/or present professional work experience with programs or projects. Identify and rank in order of perceived importance the 10 biggest issues or problems you are facing in dealing with internal project or program stakeholders. And B, the 10 biggest issues you are facing in dealing with external project or program stakeholders. Give examples if possible. How would you mitigate or eliminate such issues or problems? As you can see, it's just a few lines. But there are quite a few things which you have to attempt here, and there are quite a few points which you have to be very cognizant of, and that's why I say it's always useful a few times to read your examination papers, make notes before you actually start formally writing out your answers, because there are quite a few things here. Identify and rank, already 2 things here, in order of perceived importance. Perceived is as you see it. The 10 biggest issues or problems you are facing dealing with internal project or program stakeholders, and the 10 biggest issues you are facing dealing with external program or project stakeholders. Give examples. How would you mitigate or eliminate? Quite a few things you have to do here. It's not as simple as one would think at first glance. You can see in the note here, if you don't have any professional experience, then state what you think could be the biggest issues. I always like to leave a little door open for students, that if they maybe do not have, the prerequisite, for attempting the question, there is always a way in which they can maybe get around it without, sort of being penalized. Question number 2, you were acquainted in class with several methods for identifying project stakeholders. State 5 identification methods and discuss the limitations of each method. You have to be always very cognizant of words such as and, or, etc. Sometimes I underline words, means that you should pay special attention to them. Can you suggest 2 methods for identifying project stakeholders which were not discussed in class? And also state their potential limitations, which were not discussed in class. In other words, you have to come up with something. This is where you have to be creative, realistic, of course, logical, but at the same time you have to be creative. You have to use your mind, what you think could be done. And I am extremely open. Anything goes, as long as I said it's realistic, it's logical. Then you can come up with really anything you want. There is no issue whatsoever. The terminal examination or the final examination from fall semester 2001. You can see here that there are 4 questions. All 4 questions must be attempted. And then I again tell students, I just warn them here, do not rush into answering them, read them and their embedded sub-questions, because questions have got sub-questions A, B, C, D. Sometimes there's no A, B, C, D, it's just, a few different lines with different questions. And then there is some sort of general instructions over here to help you, and my favorite saying, the essence of knowledge is having it to apply it, from Confucius. And then it goes here into the 4 questions. The total examination has got 50 marks. The first question carries 10 marks, so it is a comparatively smaller question. And this first question is broken up into 2 parts, each of which carries 5 marks. When attempting examinations, you should always always have a look which questions carry more weight than others, more weight, more marks, in other words. What I have the problem with students is sometimes they spend most of the examination time working on 1 or 2 questions which maybe have a quarter of the marks. And when it comes to the really big questions, which carry most of the marks, then they don't have any time left. The examination time is running up. 3 hours is not a long time. 3 hours goes like anything. And when you spend 2.5 hours answering 2 out of 4 questions, and then you come to the remaining questions and you have only half an hour left, well, it's a problem. So please also think of your examination strategies when you are attempting questions. Read through them all, see which are more weight-carrying questions, which you think you can attempt easily, and then prioritize those questions. See, here again goes question 2, question 3. I've also put here an illustration to help you. Question 4 carries 20 marks. So this is a heavier question in terms of marks. It's about resistance to change, which is very important from a project stakeholder management perspective. And here I have given an article written by a psychologist on overcoming resistance to change, top 10 reasons why stakeholders resist change. And change, of course, is what projects are all about. Projects are intended to bring about change, hopefully positive change. Every project has stakeholders, and many stakeholders, they oppose projects because they are concerned about the change effect or the change impact which will result through the project. Here it gives the top 10 reasons why people resist change, and you have to read through this article. It's just a couple of pages, three pages or so, and then you have to answer the questions which go with it. So this is the typical sort of examination format, and you can read all these things in the module. From the University of Maryland, spring semester I taught this course, so the examination papers are also given over here. You can see also the examination papers. This was also taught online. They have a different system. There they record your lectures while you are actually delivering it in class to the on-campus students, and then it is recorded. It can be downloaded by the online students, and every week there is a couple of hours of video conferencing where the online students can then log in and they can discuss the course which was held in that week, what they have seen on the video, and they can ask questions and they can make comments, etc., etc. So, and the examination is also done online. So all these old examination papers here from spring semester 2010, all these old examination papers you can find here in the appendix. I always update them. The most recent ones come first, and so forth, as you can see Maslow's pyramid here, and it goes on and on and on. Anyway, to cut a long story short, this is how the course is being assessed as I teach it here at ComSat's Institute of Information Technology and Chuck Shazad. It's an elective module. It used to be a core module. This is the only one which is being taught in Pakistan, about 6 or 7 maybe in the whole world. Extensive research I've been doing trying to find out who else is teaching it, but this is hardly anyone who's doing it in any degree program, in any project management degree program anywhere in the world. So that's it for this lecture, this first lecture, this introductory lecture, where I have sort of just gone over various introductions and how things are going to be done in this course. All this information I have given for your benefit, and the next lessons, the next lectures, from 2 to 32, we will be covering the ins and outs of project stakeholders and how to manage and engage them, and a lot of information will be coming your way, so you will be really challenged, but I think at the end of this course you will feel that it's really been worthwhile for you. And that's it for today. I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.